Welcome to Report Vikings, your daily Minnesota Vikings news channel. Today, we bring you two pieces of news that are shaking up the NFL world and could directly impact the future of the Vikings. If you are a true fan and want to stay up to date with all the news and analysis, don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Oh, turn on notifications so you don't miss any details about your favorite team. Now let's go to the first news. Mike Hilton could be the missing piece to solidify the Vikings' defense, and the time to act is now. The Minnesota Vikings offseason has had its moments of boldness. The team re-signed Byron Murphy Jr. to a hefty 3-year contract, reaffirming its confidence in the cornerback as a defensive mainstay. He also brought in Isaiah Rodgers, an explosive talent who had the direct endorsement of defensive coordinator Brian Flores to take over one side of the field. On paper, it's a solid start, but for a defense that really wants to make some noise in 2025, that duo still needs reinforcements, especially in the middle of the secondary. And that's where former Cincinnati Bengals veteran Mike Hilton comes in as a name that not only makes sense, but could be the key to turning Flores' system into a nightmare for opposing offenses. A secondary school with more questions than answers. Aside from Murphy and Rodgers, the Vikings' cornerback group is uncertain to say the least. 2020 first-round pick Jeff Okudah is still struggling to prove he can stay healthy and consistent. Mackie Blackman, a pleasant surprise in 2023, returns from a serious anterior cruciate ligament injury. And Dwight McGlothern, signed as an unblocked free agent this year, has just 19 regular season snaps in the NFL. It's a unit with potential, yes, but also full of question marks. And when it comes to a defense that plays on the edge, as is the case with defenses led by Brian Flores, a reliable slot corner is essential for everything to work with surgical precision. Mike Hilton, the perfect fit in Brian Flores' system. Mike Hilton, at 31, still plays with the intensity of a hungry rookie. Over the past 4 seasons with the Bengals, Hilton has built a reputation as one of the best slot cornerbacks in the NFL. In 2023, he racked up 73 tackles, 1 interception, and 5 pass deflections, starting 10 of 16 games. While those numbers represent a slight drop from the previous season, he was still ranked as the 16th best CB in the league by Pro Football Focus. Even more impressive, he had the best run defense grade of any cornerback in the NFL, 91.7. A stat that pairs perfectly with the aggressive blitzes and varied formations Flores loves to use. Hilton is cerebral, physical, and extremely versatile, attributes that make him an almost obvious choice for the Vikings. Why is it still available? It's an intriguing question. With so many teams looking for defensive depth, why hasn't a veteran with Hilton's pedigree been signed yet? The answer likely involves a combination of factors: his age, 31, his initially projected market value, somewhere around $37 million over 3 years, according to SpotRack, and the draft's compensation policy, which leads many teams to wait until after the event to avoid losing picks in the future. But as the draft approaches, the game changes. And for teams like the Vikings, who still have clear holes in their roster and need to make an immediate impact, the wait may have been worth it. The right time to act. The truth is that Hilton's price is no longer the same. If he wants to play in 2025, he'll likely have to accept a shorter, more modest contract. For Minnesota, this could be a blessing in disguise. One of the NFL's best slot players available at an affordable price, eager to prove he still has plenty of gas left in the tank. With the slot cornerback position still open, and the post-draft strategy about to unfold, signing Hilton could be the perfect move to cement the Vikings' defense as one of the most dangerous in the league. Conclusion: a low-risk, high-impact investment. The Minnesota Vikings have already shown this offseason that they are willing to be bold. But sometimes the smartest decisions aren't the flashiest ones. They're the most timely. Mike Hilton is the perfect opportunity to add experience, tactical nous, and leadership to a secondary still under construction. In an ideal scenario, he takes over the slot and allows Murphy and Rodgers to dominate the wings, getting the most out of each talent. And with Brian Flores' strategic mind behind the defensive calls, this addition could transform the Vikings' defense from good to dominant. The clock is ticking. Hilton is still available. The time to act is now. Jalen Ramsey to the Vikings? The possibility is real, and it would make perfect sense. Sometimes a name changes everything, and in this case, that name is Jalen Ramsey, one of the most dominant cornerbacks of the modern NFL era, who may now be available on the trade market. According to NFL Network's Ian Rappaport, the Miami Dolphins and the 7-time Pro Bowler are open to exploring a parting of ways in 2025. With $25.1 million guaranteed this season, and clear signs that the relationship may be ending, Ramsey could be the new target for a team looking to make a definitive leap at defensive end. The Minnesota Vikings. The Vikings don't have a Jalen Ramsey, and that matters, with all due respect to the Vikings' current cornerback group, which has promising names like Byron Murphy Jr., Isaiah Rodgers, and even prospects like Jeff Okudah. No one there comes close to what Ramsey represents. Since entering the league as the number 5 overall pick in 2016, Ramsey has built a resume that screams elite. Super Bowl champion, 3-time first-team All-Pro, 7 Pro Bowl appearances. Defensive Rookie of the Year runner-up. Oh, and what about that title with the Rams in 2021? It was on the same team that had Kevin O'Connell as offensive coordinator and Wes Phillips on the coaching staff. The connection already exists. One player, multiple roles, and elite in all of them. Ramsey is more than an elite cornerback. He is versatility, in its purest form. Despite shining on the wing, he also plays in the slot, as a safety, and even on the defensive line. Your snap numbers speak for themselves. 6,387 snaps as a wing, CB 1,235 in the slot, 60 as an infielder, 125 as free safety, 124 on the line. That kind of flexibility is a dream for any defensive coordinator, especially someone like Brian Flores, who loves mixing up coverages, running creative blitzes, and keeping opposing offenses constantly confused. He still plays at a very high level. Despite being 30 years old, Ramsey continues to play at a high level. In 2023, he had a PFF grade of 76.9, one of the highest among cornerbacks. The years with the Rams, including time under O'Connell, resulted in consistent ratings in the 70s and 80s. The decline? It's still far from arriving. And the cost? Here's where it gets interesting. The cost to purchase it can be surprisingly affordable. When the Dolphins brought him in from Los Angeles, they only paid for a rotation tight end. And now, Miami has already paid out $4 million in roster bonuses. That means any interested team would have to take on just $21.1 million of his contract this season. A hefty sum, but far from prohibitive, especially considering the window of opportunity with J.J. McCarthy still on his rookie contract. The contract runs through 2028, which coincides perfectly with the cycle of the Vikings' new starting quarterback, should the team exercise the 5th-year option. Does this make sense to Kwesi Adofo-Mensah? Everything indicates that yes. The Vikings GM has already shown himself to be aggressive in trades. He's also not afraid to take a chance on veterans. Names like Ryan Kelly, Javon Hargrave, and Jonathan Allen have been considered or added recently, all of whom are similar in age to Ramsey, who turns 31 in October. What about the Minnesota cast? He has talent but needs key pieces to reach the next level. Defense, especially the secondary, can be the difference between a competitive team and a real contender. Imagine this secondary. Jalen Ramsey, the leader, physical, versatile, experienced Byron Murphy Jr., fast, aggressive, with room to grow. Isaiah Rodgers, promising, dynamic, the kind of talent that flourishes alongside veterans plus a young cornerback drafted, all this under the sharp eye of Brian Flores. Conclusion: the time to dare is now. Bringing Jalen Ramsey to Minnesota isn't just possible, it's strategic. The connection with the technical committee exists. The tactical fit is almost perfect. The cost is not prohibitive. And the impact can be transformative. If the Vikings truly believe they are building a team to win in 2025 and beyond, this could be the boldest and most brilliant move of the offseason. Keep an eye out. This can get hot fast.